Hello, welcome to today's video. I'm Teresa. I recently completed a 12-month solo travel experience, a grown-up gap year as I called it. And today I wanted to share a little bit more detail about how to budget for such a trip. In the last video, or the video before last, I actually talked about how to plan a grown-up gap year, as I'm calling it. So feel free to go back and check that out. I'll put it at the end of this video as well, so it comes up for you. Um, as well as practical tips, I'm a yoga and meditation teacher, and I will be sharing at the end of this video a short sort of meditation practice for you to sort of tap into your appreciation, your relationship with money, and your relationship with risk. So we'll come to that at the very end. I'll timestamp this video so you can go straight there if you're watching this at a separate time and want to go straight to the meditation. So yeah, a few things that I was thinking about to share with you about budgeting. So first of all, I'm a big spreadsheet person. You might not be, you might be, write stuff down, or you might just not work like that at all. That's fine. You do you and I'll do me. But I like a spreadsheet. So I had a big spreadsheet with what I thought were all the key things that I would be needing to spend money on. Some are obvious, right? So hotels, hostels, accommodation, food, flights, buses, trains, all of that kind of stuff. There's a few things that I didn't really kind of factor in that actually I would say just make sure that, and because they're smaller amounts, you sort of don't really think about them, but they do add up. And that's things like making sure that you've got money to buy data. So I used an eSIM in some of the places that I stayed in, and other places I bought local SIMs. So making sure I had data with my phone. Laundry costs, randoms, but actually they do sort of start to add up when you're doing laundry on the go. You're going to possibly have coffee out, juices out, whatever you drink, with your friends that you might meet on the route. Realistically, I thought I would probably eat in a bit more. That there were times when I met people and then I'd go out or I'd get invited out to join them, and so it's good to have a little bit more contingency for that kind of thing, so that you can enjoy yourself. And that's the whole point of solo travel. Is one of the reasons to solo travel is to have this opportunity to meet such amazing people and to hear their stories and learn from them. So definitely that. I think also things like buying clothes on the road. You might want to buy gifts to send back. Some people buy things and then actually send them as they go. I was quite lucky in that I had a number of friends join me for various legs of the journey. So bless them. They all kindly took back a few bits for me back to the UK, and then posted them off to like my brother and my nephew and people like that. So yeah, just bear in mind you might want to buy a few bits like that. That's the first thing. So just don't forget the things that you think you might forget. Your niceties, what are they? It's useful to probably Google like where you're going and get a sense of, like, you could just Google things like how much is a bottle of water, how much is a cup of coffee. What you can look on things like booking.com and Airbnb for prices for hotels and hostels, and get a sense of what you think you'll be needing to pay per day. I actually worked out my budget per day because for me, I'm renting my house out, which has funded a lot of my travel. So I knew exactly how much I had to spend per day. So from that, I could work back and work out how much I needed plus my accommodation. And then I could find accommodation in that price bracket, basically. Um, so yeah, that's just something to think about. It's like Google costing. You can also look at apps like Uber and stuff are helpful for like taxi costs. If you're in somewhere that has taxis that use Uber, I mean, obviously it's not always possible. And where I'm currently in India. The place I'm in at the moment doesn't have Uber, but Friday or soon I'm going down to Bangalore and they do have Uber. So that's great. So I can get a sense of prices and things. You could also look at forums, Facebook groups for the area that you're going in, ask questions of people around this if you're not sure about how to start to get a sense of pricing and how much things cost. Um, I found that actually me embracing technology a lot more than I'd done before on this trip, which really helped me. So I used a few different apps. Certainly, I moved all my banking online and made sure that I could easily transfer money around. I could not necessarily rely on just one bank card to get money out of an ATM. I could, it's different from when you're going on holiday for 2 weeks when maybe you can take the cash that you need, but you can't take cash for a year. I mean, well, you could, but I didn't. Um, so yeah, I was relying on getting money out of ATMs. So just think about that. Think about the accessibility of your funding as well, where and how you're going to do that. Think about having backup options if things go awry. And I'll talk about this in a bit more detail in another video. But having bank cards in different places. I have some really gorgeous, lovely friends that basically said to me, if it all goes horribly wrong and you can't get to any money, whatever, let me know and I'll Western Union transfer you some money. So it's nice to have a bit of backup like that just in case, things happen. Luckily, I didn't have to use any of those kind offers. So yeah, there's a really good app I quite liked. I'm not affiliated to any apps or connected. I don't work with that. It's not my bag, any of this. I'm not really a YouTubey person. I'm just sharing my experience. So I used an app called Tripcoin, which you can put all your budget in. It's also a really good currency converter as well. I found that very easy to use. And in fact, I'm using it for this year as well because I'm continuing to travel a little bit in my second year of travel, but I'm a bit more stable in longer term in places. I think the other key things to consider that maybe are not obvious is I was pretty alarmed at the price of my annual trip insurance, because an annual policy, which I'd had for many, many years, usually covers you for potentially 30, 60 or 90 days out of your country. Really be careful on this, because there have been incidents. I know of people that have had accidents in Thailand and they're on an annual policy and they think they're covered, but they're not, because they've not been home. So if you're going to be out for a long time, like I was away from the UK for 12 months. I had to get a single trip annual policy. I was 50 years old, no health conditions, and it was still very expensive, and it nearly kind of completely threw my budget out. So just be mindful of that. Check around. Said if you've got health conditions as well. Again, I may do another video on this later on about where to go and find insurance. But it is important to have. Some people get insurance through their banks and stuff like that. But I decided that actually, if I was on my own, knowing that if I had an accident or something, that I was covered was like the most important thing for me. So I did invest in that, and touch wood, I didn't need it. So yeah, the other thing I think, and final thing I want to say on this is like have a contingency fund. So I had a plan, did my spreadsheet. Oh, probably should say also, like, don't discount things like visas and stuff like that as well, because again, you forget about this. Maybe you need a new passport, maybe you need whatever it is to travel, maybe you need a new rucksack, maybe you need to go and buy new wardrobes. Put that all into your budget for your year, because these things can just kind of run out of control otherwise. So yeah, final thing I want you to say before we move into our little meditation moment is contingency fund. So I had a plan. I planned quite a bit of the travel before I went, but not all of it. And I joined an overland trip that went to some amazing countries, but I was incredibly miserable on the trip for various reasons, which I won't share on this video. And I decided to leave 2 weeks early. I actually came to this place. I was in India. No, I was in Bhutan. I left the trip before it went into Bangladesh, and I came to this place in India where I know and I felt comfortable. But obviously, that had a cost implication. I got no money back from the trip, and it was 2 weeks accommodation and food. So it was good that I had a bit of backup for that kind of thing. Also, later down the line, I thought I was going to go to Sri Lanka, and then I didn't. That's a whole nother story. Cancel flights, blah blah blah. So yeah, just make sure, a bit like if you're doing a house extension, you have a 10-15% ish contingency fund. Make sure you have that as well for this big adventure that you're about to go on, and it will give you perhaps a little bit more comfort. So before we close, if you are able to join me for the meditation, please do. If you need to go, go. You can come back to this when you've got some space. Just speak a few minutes. I'd encourage you to obviously not be doing this if you're driving or needing to sort of, operate anything, because I'd like you just to take a moment to be here, be present, be mindful, be in the body. If you can, sort of sit, and if you can sit upright, I'm going to do the same thing because I'm a bit slouchy today. And, close the eyes if you're comfortable to do so. Feel the feet on the earth, feel a connection between maybe the back in the chair, the legs in the chair, the bottom in the chair. So just before we do any considerations around money, which is such a loaded topic at times, just first of all, come back to the here and now, be in your body, be with the breath. Big inhale, big exhale. Big inhale, big exhale. And then I'm just going to ask you a few questions. When I talk about money, where do you feel that in your body? Can you feel it in the body? Is it in the mind? Do you feel a bit sick in the stomach thinking about money? Is it in the heart? Where in the body is your relationship to money? And then what is your relationship to money? For many years, I lived with very much a scarcity mindset that I shouldn't spend, that it won't come back, not seeing that money is an energy and not really appreciating, and that sense of clinging and holding on to what you have. Maybe you're the opposite. Maybe you're somebody that spends beyond your means. But wherever you are, there's no judgments here. But just take a moment to realize where you are on that scale. Are you somebody that's really worries about money, that doesn't want to buy a cup of coffee because it seems a bit pricey? Or are you somebody that will just splash out and worry about paying for it after? Where are you on that scale? It doesn't matter where you are. But knowing where you are on that scale will help you with your budgeting. My final question to you is, what is your capacity for risk? Are you going to give everything up and go? Are you going to keep things at home? Are you going to keep property, car, whatever it might be? You're going to keep money in the bank? Or are you going to sell everything up, buy a camper and travel around the world? Again, those are two extreme levels of on a scale, from perhaps keeping things back to perhaps throwing it all in the air and just going for it. Where are you on that scale? Just take a moment to see if you can find yourself there. Everyone will be different. And then slowly and gently come back to the breath again, inhaling through the nose, exhaling out through the nose. Inhaling and exhaling. And gently and slowly open the eyes. And thank yourself for giving yourself the time to do this short exercise. If you feel that you want to work with abundance and building in a sense of abundance into your world, I've got in the link below my Insight Timer app link. That's free meditations. I've written a few around abundance and feeling abundant and mindset, because this is something I'm personally working on and continue to work on as well. The year of travel really helped me with that, actually, because I had to lose control and I just gave up everything and went with it and lost that control, and it was liberating. So, but everyone has their own journey. Everyone's journey will be different. So these are the key things for me that I would suggest to have a think about when you're thinking about budgeting. Don't let the detail destroy the excitement, though, because you're going on an adventure. And money is money, but an adventure is priceless. So enjoy. If you like this video, I'd be ever so grateful for a thumbs up, sharing. I'm trying to build an audience here. It's a bit tricky on YouTube because I don't really know what I'm doing. So yeah, please share, and I will catch you all soon on another video. Take care. You know what to do if you like this video. Please like, share, and subscribe.